Imagine discovering that a single line in the law could erase your place in your own family. That's the reality we're unraveling today. I'm Hannah, your charming legal sidekick, and joining me is the champion for justice, attorney JFM.
Great to be here, Hannah. Today, we are discussing a wall. Not one made of bricks or stone, but a wall made of words and old traditions. For decades, the Philippine Civil Code had what we called an iron curtain. This wasn't a physical barrier, but a legal one that separated families based on whether a child's parents were married or not.
What a wild concept, the law shutting someone out just because of a missing marriage certificate. So, listeners, will explore how this iron curtain affected real families, the heartbreaking case of Maria, and the Supreme Court's game-changing decision.
We'll dig into the history behind the rule, debate whether it was ever justified, reveal how the Supreme Court turned things around, and share what this means for Filipino families now. Ready to make sense of the law and maybe rewrite a little justice? Let's jump in.
So, attorney, walk us back. Why would lawmakers build this iron curtain in the first place? It feels like a plot twist from a gloomy novel. Why keep children from their own family's legacy?
The roots are deep, Hannah. Article 992 of the Civil Code came from a time when the law feared mixing marital and non-marital families. Lawmakers thought allowing non-marital children to inherit would unleash family fights and resentment.
But weren't they just assuming the worst? It's almost like they predicted drama, so the law punished the child instead. That's a heavy burden when you had no say in how or to whom you were born.
Exactly. For decades, if you were a non-marital child, even if your father was a loving son once he passed, the law blocked you from inheriting your grandfather's estate. The family bond was there, but the legal bond was cut off.
Maria's story brings it all to life. Her dad died before she was born, and when her grandfather passed, she reached out for her share, but the law just slammed the door. That's real pain from an invisible rule.
And the tragedy is, Maria's situation isn't rare. The law hurt thousands, all because of choices they never made. No child picks their parents' story, they just live with the consequences.
There's this counter-argument, though. Some say protecting marriage means drawing hard lines. Does giving non-marital children rights make marriage less important? What about families who worry about outsiders claiming their legacy?
That's been the classic debate for generations. But let's be honest, a marriage contract doesn't change your DNA. The Supreme Court, especially Justice Leonen, argued that refusing a child's inheritance is what really causes family bitterness, not the sharing itself.
That flips the script. And if a grandparent wanted to exclude someone, couldn't they just write a will?
Exactly, they could. But most people pass away without a will. The law steps in, and for decades, it pretended some grandkids simply weren't family. Plus, with so many children born outside marriage, thousands or probably hundreds of thousands in just 1 year, the old rule was making legal orphans out of real relatives.
Hearing those numbers, it's clear this isn't just a quirk. It's a nationwide issue, and the law finally had to face its own harsh impact.
Right. The law should reflect how families really live, not punish kids for their parents' choices. The law should protect the children who have no choice to pick who their parents will be.
So, how did the Supreme Court finally tear down the Iron Curtain? What changed for Maria and everyone like her?
The big shift came from the 2021 case. Justice Leonen and the court re-examined Article 992, deciding that all children, no matter their parents' marital status, are blood relatives of their grandparents. Grandkids can't be shut out just because their parents weren't married.
That's a landmark. But did Maria instantly win her case, or was there more to it?
She got her foot in the door, but there was a twist. The court sent her case back to check the facts. Was she really her father's daughter? DNA evidence became the crucial test. The law now leans on science, not just paperwork. to prove family ties.
That's powerful. Using DNA means the truth matters more than old labels or missing documents. Another thing I loved about this decision, they shifted the language from legitimate and illegitimate to marital and non-marital. It's subtle but so much more respectful.
Absolutely. The court called those old terms pejorative. They're loaded with shame. Now it's about your place in the family, not the circumstances of your birth. With Article 982, representation rights are for all children, no matter how they entered the world.
That sends such a hopeful message. You're not a legal mistake. You belong. It's all about serving the child's best interests, not outdated fears about family strife.
And hopefully, this shift helps families focus on healing and fairness, not old stigmas or legal jargon.
What a journey! To recap, the Iron Curtain is gone for grandchildren. The law now uses the fairer terms marital and non-marital. And if you're in Maria's shoes, science like DNA is your best ally in court.
If you or someone you care about is being kept from an inheritance because of birth status, don't just accept it. The law has changed, but not everyone knows it yet. Assert your rights. Consult a lawyer who's up to date with these new Supreme Court doctrines.
And we'd love to hear from you. Share your family's inheritance stories in the comments. If you've ever faced a situation about your rights as a child or parent, your experience might help someone else.
Thanks for joining us. If today's episode helped you understand your rights or touched you in any way, please like, share, and subscribe. We're here to make sure no one feels left out by the legal system.
Stay informed, stay wise, and remember your family's story matters. We'll catch you next time for another legal deep dive.
And just a quick reminder, this podcast is for general information only, not legal advice. Always consult a licensed attorney for your unique situation. I'm attorney JFM. Take care and see you in our next case file.